Organic matter is fast food for plants, okay? Your soil isn't dead, you're just feeding it wrong. And today I'm going to show you things, tricks, and tips that you can use and you can do to make your soil a powerhouse, supercharge it so that your plants will just take off. I had a bad experience, or should I say a learning experience. One of my zucchini plants died. It was in bed one, it died. And I was very much bothered, but the good thing with gardening that I can tell you now, you're disappointed once, but you learn twice. And from that one dead zucchini plant, I learned what to do, how to fix the soil to make sure I don't lose any other plant, and definitely save my other zucchini plant that I have here that is still holding on to life. We'll move right into it. There are some things that we all must understand before we begin to treat the soil, okay? And the first thing I want you to learn and understand is to stop treating your soil like dirt. Yes, dirt. Dirt, by the word dirt, I mean something that is bare, nothing to it, no nutrients, nothing to feed with, and it is just there. And I'm going to show you one example of dirt. I'm in Florida, and of course Florida is known for its sandy soil, and it is just that, it is just bare. And that's it, just Florida sand. There is nothing to it, okay? There is no nutrients, no nothing. It is just a compound that is just free, okay? Very much well aerated, allow proper drainage. That doesn't mean it is not good. Every plant you have out there has its own preference, and there are certain plants that like this kind of soil, that start well in this kind of soil. And I'll show you, because I started my chayote, I started okras, and I started roselles, the hibiscus, in just plain Florida sand. The thing that you have to do though is what you can add to this, how you can make it better, how can you fortify it. And that is exactly what I did, why my chayote is flourishing, and I'll show it to you. But what I'll do, I'll show you the things that you can add to make sure that your plants, your dirt begins to become alive. And it is very basic. Some you may have lying around and some you can get, but I'll show you. The first thing I'll show you, you have scraps from the kitchen, okay? These are pak choy. I bought some pak choy at the store, and then you have leaves that don't look so right, that you don't like. That all you can do, cut it up, okay? Cut these up. It doesn't have to be fancy. Because these leaves represent nutrients, represent life itself that can be broken down, liquefied, and then put inside your bed. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. So you add it to a container, okay? Add it. Add some water to this, okay? Cover it. Let it sit for a week or two. And after that, yes, it will smell stinky, but that shows you and tells you that it is alive, okay? Because there is microbial activity going on, things breaking down. And once that happens, the longer it sits, the richer it gets. And all you have to do is pour that solution onto your plant. So that helps, okay? So that is my first point here. Don't treat your soil as dirt. Treat your soil as the basis, the basic thing that you can start from to build on, because of course you have to start from somewhere, and having dirt to begin with is very much important, okay? So you can add. The other thing is adding organic matter, okay? We have a lot of that all over. You can choose anything, okay? First, I showed you those pak choy, that's organic matter. Secondly, don't sleep on certain things. This here is a root ball, okay? A root ball. I bought a plant from the big box store. You can see it is still even the shape of the container that it came in. It had excess dirt and the excess root that was on it that I broke away. But this soil here is very rich. When you buy plants from the big box store, don't throw this away because this is still good. Take it, pull it apart, because even these remnants of roots, they represent life, because once they break down, they add to the soil. And this is an example of organic matter. Free, easy, cheap, because yes, you bought the plant, you didn't want the excess stuff that it came with, but that doesn't mean it is useless. Okay, you take it, break it apart, you can add to another plant pot, you can add to your raised beds. You understand? You can add to a basket, like we have a basket of flower up there. It adds nutrients to whatever you have going on. Okay, so that is one thing. The other one is real manure, live manure, you know, organic manure from an animal. However, you may have chickens, you have goats, you have horse, you have rabbits, you have all types of manure. Be careful though, make sure you know the live versus the one that is ready, because live manure is too hot, it is too heated to be used, it needs to be cool, like literally. You get it once it is fresh, you let it stay out, lie out for a while, and disintegrate, and all that high level of microbial activity, you know, fresh from the animal, is kind of dying down. And then once it is dry, the drier it is, those kind of live manures like chicken manure, you have goat manure, horse manure, let them sit a little before you use them. There's one ready one though, rabbit manure, and I can show you that. I have a little here. Okay, so here it is. And I won't handle this with my hand because I should have a pair of gloves, but that is how we're looking, and that is ready to be used. Okay, you can add this to your bed, to your plant pot, to whatever you're growing, and this is ready nutrients, ready, live, on demand, for the demand, whatever the plant needs. So here you'll have it. Okay, the other thing you can do as well is other types of manures, like for example coffee grounds. You get it, but it is something, if you use it immediately, like the immediate coffee ground, like fresh off your tea, you just got it, you have a cup, you continue to add, and you have a cup full now, you still have to wait. Treat it as if it is live manure from an animal. Let it break down, because that fresh manure as is from your cup can hurt the plant. Let it break down. And a rule of thumb I use for something like that, when the smell begins to water down, when it is not smelling like coffee grounds anymore, then you know it is getting more and more ready. And I have a little here. Okay, this is just a little, I'll show you. One thing I want to show you though, that I've learned in terms of the color of these organic matter. You notice sand itself, how dry and dull it looks, and then the richer the soil gets, the darker it gets, because this is like real compost, ready to use compost, how dark it is. So you know you're onto something good, and you know your plants are onto something good faster. Okay, so that is what it is. Okay, so just be aware of that, what you can use, what you can add. And someone might ask, because for my garden I'm using organic fertilizer, that is the seaweed fertilizer I tell you guys about. It is very good so far, but my problem is I have to face my own constraints, not the plants. You understand? Long work days, many days, and then when I get home, sometimes I don't have time to be watering. That now creates another problem, because it means, yes, I'm feeding the plants when I get to water, but then when they are ready for their nutrients, if I don't give it to them at that time, or not available to give it to them, then they don't get it, and they end up being deficient by my actions, not theirs. So I have to figure a way out, what else can I do to make sure that on demand, when they need it, they can get it. And if this nutrient is already lying in wait in the soil itself, then you're good, because it means that whenever they need, they grab and go. It's their fast food. So organic matter is fast food for plants. Okay, fast food for your garden, fast food for whatever you are growing. The only difference with this fast food is it is best for them than the artificial. Okay, so tell me what you are doing, and tell me any organic matter that you're using. And by the way, if you're just joining, my name is Deb. Welcome to my little spot, my little plot. Freedom gardening is the way to go here. Fast produce in raised beds, easy, economical, DIY, organic, minimal space, minimal effort. And if you're just joining, come take a seat. This is one of the smallest spaces on YouTube with the biggest invite. I love good company, and you're welcome to join. We sow along, we grow along, we harvest together. Okay? Now I'm gonna move on to the other point now. Supercharging your soil. Mulching. Mulch, mulch, mulch. Mulch like you mean it, you know? So these beds here, one of my biggest problem is, yes, the beds are, I like where they are situated, but they get different angles of the sun. This bed, bed 1, it gets the least amount of sun, and bed 2, more sun. So what happens is my plants over here, they dry out more, way more, and I need to figure out a way to fix it. I'm gonna show you something that I use. Sometimes you buy other plants. Don't sleep on the things that you get from the big box store from the other plants, because you may be able to use it in your vegetable garden. And I'm gonna show you one thing. This here, right here, you can see the remnants of a plant. It was an orchid, one of my orchids that died in the Florida freeze. However, if you can see here, it has stuff at the roots. Okay, what is at the root here is sphagnum moss. Sphagnum moss, of course, it is an expensive compound, not necessarily used in gardening. They use it as a starter material for a lot of plants. However, this here can help me, because depending on the type of plant that likes nutrients at its roots, I can have it here, put it there, and especially on days when I don't get to water, this thing absorbs water so well, and then the plants can have it at its root. Okay? The other thing is, I also got these in my orchids, you know, these smaller wood chips. Don't be afraid to use them. Okay, you can use them and put them around the roots of some of your plants, especially the smaller ones who are not yet strong enough to withstand the blazing sun. But you want something that leads to moisture retention, something that gauges the temperature in your beds, something that controls weeds. It would help, because if you have mulch like those at the root of the plants, and it is impossible for the weeds to grow up, because they have nowhere to grow and they're not getting the sunlight to facilitate it either. And also, you are facilitating microbial activity, because what happens is you help to trap the moisture, you help to keep the microbes where they are, and they are able to flourish. And that builds your soil, that supercharges your soil and turns it into a powerhouse. So now your veggies, your garden can prosper even better. So if you're a lazy gardener, a busy gardener, these things help. And these are small things that leads to big differences and make you look like a pro, literally. So these are the things that I do, and this is one thing I'm gonna start to implement as it relates to the roots of my plants. One other thing I wanted to tell you is compost tea. Okay, I have a jar of compost tea here. The thing with compost tea is it feeds the roots. Okay, it allows for the increase of microbial life within the soil, and it also aids the soil biology. What happens is, just as much as above ground, underground is a living city. You might live in a busy city like out here. I am in an urban setting, and everything is busy. There's noise everywhere, cars everywhere, lights, you know, ambulances, whatever. Underground is the same thing, but with microbial life. And that microbial life is to aid the betterment of the soil itself. If you feed it the right way, then all of that increases. So when it increases, no matter what you plant in that soil, it's going to grow, because it has what it needs, where it needs it, and it can get it when it needs it. So what I did for my compost tea, don't sleep on things around your yard. You have grass cuttings, you have dried leaves. I have some dried leaves I want to show you here. You have dried leaves, okay? This is good, this is gold, okay? You cut this up, and I can even add it to my pak choy thing here. Add some fluid to it. And let that sit for a week or two. This is gonna be golden for your garden. And once it is ready, similar to what I have here, I went ahead and did this like a week ahead, you will have liquid gold for your garden, and all you do is feed it. So just remember, sometimes it's the simplest things that adds the biggest intervention for your plants and help you out more than expensive big box store items, okay? So just know that the compost tea, it feeds the roots, it enables microbial life, and it facilitates soil biology, development, growth, multiplication underneath. Soil itself is like a city. Just as how you're in the city with the noise, the hustle and the bustle, there is hustle and bustle underneath. But you have to facilitate that. And to facilitate that, you have to add organic, natural, supercharging methods and things to make it know that. And once you do that, then you'll get big harvest, big things, big and successful produce, okay? It's your choice, but I won't bash it. But let me know, let's share, let's connect, let's grow. And if this helps someone, please like, share, type, and supercharge this video for sure. So those are my pointers to supercharging your soil.